Free Time Free Spill Podcast Compilation.
Yeah. Keep playing. Keep playing the tunes, the tunes, the tunes.
Whew.
I was about to go
All
off. I was
right.
about
I was about to end.
to.
Folks,
Yeah.
for those who are tuning in, let's have a little bit of story time before we get into the next this thing,
All right.
jam story. How Paul and I met, it was an crazy story. We were actually supposed to talk about this in our live stream, podcast Indie United. If you guys haven't, what are you guys doing? You guys gotta check out the Pod Indie United. It's a very amazing place to be in. And we went live, free time, free spill. I was the guest, but it was funny. It was funny during that event. I was the one who was introduced first, but yeah, I love that experience. And if Tina Marie is tuning in, hello, and
Hey,
if
Tina.
Rob is also tuning in, hi guys.
What's
I'm
up,
a
Rob?
bit nervous when you guys, yeah. So yeah, so a little bit of background on how Paul and I met. It's a funny story. When we met, there was this one of these podcast groups where we were added, and in this podcast group, Paul posted something about philosophy and what was that, philosophy
Sociology?
or some sociology? Yeah, sociology. His
Anybody
philosophy.
into philosophy and sociology? Like, I want to talk about
Yeah,
that on the podcast. And then, like, I seen Rajiv. And then
yeah,
that's how we
and then
connected. Did a podcast. What was our first episode?
I don't even
Philosophy and
remember.
innovation. Oh, it was
Yeah,
like the
because
talk
I remember
that we didn't post.
the funny part about that was the only thing that I remember from that day was I was, I think, working on one of my episodes. So I was working the graveyard shift here in the Philippines, which was 12 to around 5 a.m. So I think we started communicating, and then when we were communicating, uh, one thing, the conversations continued. I think that comment section was filled with our communication, or it was just, "Can I add you?" kind of question, and then we messaged each other, and then that's when one thing led to the other. It was funny. I still don't know if he still has the recording, but we had a Zoom meeting that prior to that comment, that live thing, where we ended up talking, and then I was introducing myself, he was introducing, and then yeah, he's he directly tuned in. He tuned it out on Zoom, and then he kind of made he made it fun, and it was funny. One thing led to the other. I told him, could you take that down? Because I'm a kind of guy who likes, well organized things, somewhat like a perfectionist, my style. And the funny
There
thing
was no
was, he said,
filter.
"Okay, yeah, no." But at that time, we during that first time we met on Zoom, uh, the Wi-Fi here at home was fluctuating, so I do not know why he still had to continue posting that thing.
I took it down,
And
though.
yeah, and then after that, I think this is more like our fourth collaboration. our first collaboration, we were talking about music and innovation. And then I think the second time we collaborated again in your podcast was
Music talk
when was that?
and more. That was
Music
September or
talk and more.
August.
Oh, yeah,
Music
music
talk
talk
and
and
more.
yeah. And then after that, our third collaboration was, of course, Indie Pods United's Sing. I'll be releasing our Let's Talk series episode, by the way, on December 30th. That is Philippine time, somewhere around Philippine time. So you guys stay tuned on Spotify and YouTube and all the good stuff.
That's
So
really
yeah,
great one.
I haven't edited it yet. Yeah, it's hard work, and that's how fun we one thing led to the other, conversation after conversation. It was much fun. So yeah,
Had a
that
series of experiences with heaven, kind of like near-death experiences. And it wasn't just one, it was multiple. And I realized that, as I started reading the near-death experiences other people have had, that they'd have one perspective of heaven, one perspective of God, and they'd come back and say, this is what I experienced, and it was everything, and it was beautiful. But there wasn't a lot of connection between one person's experience and another person's experience. And I realized, because I had multiple and it came from different cultural perspectives, that it gave me a unique view on what happens on the other side, and then it was a part of the story that wasn't being told yet. So um, I decided to step out there and be a little bit courageous and share my story and be vulnerable. That was a hard thing to do.
So how did you experience near death experience? Like, was it an accident or was it like meditation?
So that's a wonderful question. You got two types, right? You got the near-death experience where the person has an out-of-body type,
Okay.
and then you've got the like the meditation or prayer or other moments of spontaneous out-of-body experience. And my first one was actually facilitated by a woman who had died 4 different times. The first time in a plane crash, and she encountered God during all 4 of those experiences. And when she came back, she was changed. She was different. She had a gift to help people cross over and have their own experience without having to die to get there. And so she contacted me one day and told me she felt like I was supposed to have that experience. And one of the times in which I met her, I had a vision. There was this incredible feeling that I was holding a piece of her heart. And I came out of a conservative Christian background, so this kind of a concept was really new to me. But I saw in my mind's eye myself placing my hand on her heart. And so without even thinking about it, I started to move my hand toward her heart. And then I thought, oh my gosh, like I, I don't know if she's going to be okay with me putting my hand on her chest. And so I
Yeah.
stopped, and she says, no, she grabs my hand and she puts it right over her heart. And she's like, that's exactly where Jesus puts his hand. And as soon as she did that, like I felt this explosion of just energy all through my body, where I couldn't feel the difference between my thoughts and her thoughts. And I couldn't feel my body anymore. And it was like numb and vibrating everywhere. And I started asking her, I'm like, what is this feeling? And she's like, that's the feeling that comes right before you cross over. And so she told me to lay down, and then she started using her gift to kind of help open the door the rest of the way. And then I found myself on the other side, starting to have an experience with the light itself, and having a flood of memories coming back of Jesus and of God, and then having experiences with beings on the other side. And that was my first experience. And I wanted to have a series of others after that.
Did you know she had like a background in like healing?
I did not. I actually didn't know her at all when she reached out to me. She just reached out and said that she'd been inspired to work with me. I was a spiritual seeker at the time. And so, somebody reached out, said they had a near death experience, and they wanted to help me have something similar. I'm like, wow, that sounds exciting. Um, so I really didn't know much about her before having the whole experience.
What has gotten you into like you're a doctor, right? And like how long have you been practicing?
So I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a PhD. So, sometimes people jokingly refer to that as a doctor who doesn't actually help people. But so I got my degree in biomedical engineering. So I studied the mathematics of how DNA molecules bind to each other. And I used that to develop new technologies. I was very interested in healthcare in the developing world. I, in my younger years, I spent 2 years in Brazil as a missionary working with people in impoverished places. And I just thought, wow, if I could invent technologies to help people in the poorest parts of the world, that would be amazing. So I wanted to develop technologies that would impact people in Africa and India and other places. Um, and so I spent a lot of my adult life traveling around, meeting with government officials from these countries, members of the Red Cross, different philanthropies, and I developed technologies that would detect viruses overseas. And it turned out last year that one of the tests developed with my technologies was a COVID test. And at the time, we thought that it wasn't going to be a big deal. It was just something happening in China. So we were developing it for the developing world. And then all of a sudden it came back to the US and we found ourselves major players in that scene as things unfolded.
Wow, that's awesome. That's really awesome. What are you currently doing? Like working on, like you got the technology you worked on, and the author, your author. What you currently working on?
Officer for that company, and it's allowing them to grow more to become a bigger company. For me, the fun part was always in the invention, it was in the development. And now that they're focused on production and distribution, it's just a different company. Um, it's a different experience. And then, as you pointed out, I'm an author now of this book with spiritual emphasis. And so I figure I'm going to take a few months to focus on promotion of the book, just sharing the message that is in the book, and see where things go from there.
And you learn from like different cultures, like different modalities, and you study like a lot of healing stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, it may be an unusual combination for some people to think about somebody with, a science background who's been in the business world and successful in that community to then cross over into healing. But for me, it's still part of the same question. As I was developing scientific innovations for the third world, it finally hit me that it didn't matter how many drugs we donate to the third world. It's never enough. That people are suffering, they're hurting, and it's more than just the disease. There is a poverty consciousness, and what the world needs is not just healing from disease, but healing from the afflictions of the heart that keep people feeling disempowered. Um, and so I started looking more into that and found that there was an overlap between the experiences that I was having with heaven and also um, the types of things that are being taught in some of these energy healing modalities, like matrix energetics, theta healing, just a whole variety that I experienced. And it wasn't just energy healing that I studied. I went and studied with like Christian street healers, studied with Hindu healers. I've studied with people from different cultures and just wanted to look at the effects of faith and how it impacts people's ability to heal themselves, to heal others, and how it changes the heart.
What is matrix energetics? That's my first time hearing it.
So, matrix energetics was a technique for healing that was developed by Richard Bartlett. And it if you kind of look at the different religious forms of healing, you got like Christian healing where people might pray over each other, or Hindu healing where there's a different kind of a blessing that goes on. If you were to start looking at the commonalities between all these different religious forms of healing, you might find that there are some overlaps, some similarities. And from a scientific perspective, if you were to be able to take those similarities and pull them out of the religious construct and then just focus on the experience itself of healing, of being healed, um, then that kind of gives a basis for some of these energy healing modalities. And matrix energetics is one that looks at the structure free capacity to heal people and to have changes not just in the physical body, but changes in consciousness, changes in the way that we perceive ourselves and the world around us.
Any books that you recommend that in the healing field that you love?
Probably my favorite book in the healing field is by Dr. Joe Dispenza, You Are the Placebo. because he does such a good job at blending some of the scientific papers out there on people who have spontaneously healed during scientific studies, and then talking about what might be going on in the center of our hearts, that affects that causes people to spontaneously heal from cancer or something else. Because he gets into the whole idea, like in the scientific community, the idea of placebo is seen in a negative light. That it's, oh, that was just the placebo effect, as if it wasn't real healing, but the people were actually really healed. I mean, you have somebody that receives a fake knee surgery and yet somehow their knee heals, or they receive a fake heart surgery and yet their heart heals. They receive a sugar pill instead of medicine and somehow their cancer is gone. I mean, this is real healing, but it's just happening for a reason that scientists can't explain. And so they just want to like invalidate that so they can focus on how to sell their medicine or sell their drug instead of actually looking at why did it happen to begin with. And if we've got the capacity to heal ourselves, if our bodies are that miraculous and, magical as it were, then how can we, increase that effect instead of trying to get rid of it so we can sell our medicines? How do we actually get our bodies to do what they were made to do and heal themselves? And so I believe that Dr. Joe Dispenza does the best job of anybody that I've seen in explaining that process and how it works.
Knows all my plans. Universe is always there to give me intuition and the thoughts to take actions.
My favorite color is green. It's like grass green, but like any kind of green, but not too light, not too dark. But like it's almost like grass green. But that's my favorite color.
Yeah. Green is the color of energy, a good energy. Yeah.
And also the hearts.
So have 15 minutes meeting every day with the universe. Calm your mind, close your eyes, and listen to your thoughts.
Yeah, the heart chakra is green. Listen to all this crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's mad sick. Some people don't. People gonna be. I'm gonna shock the world when this become $1 billion, $1 trillion brand. This real positive. People gonna be like, I didn't even know you can make that much money with some positive. I'm like, it's already out there. The numbers is out there. We saw what Avengers did. We saw what Black Panther did. The business model has been proven. Blade was the first. A lot of people don't know. Blade was the first productive movie from Marvel because they was taking a lot of L's. So that was the first character that was a multi-million-dollar moneymaker for Marvel. Blade.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't even know that.
I never knew that.
Yeah, most people. That was the first superhero character that was a huge moneymaker for Marvel. Because remember, Batman, that was DC. That was DC Comics. That was the first one for Marvel, Blade. And then they try to play psychological warfare with you. They're like, nobody want to see these Black people doing this, doing that. Black Panther come out, $1 billion first week.
Yeah, I would go see it.
Yeah, it's already proven, but everybody is being reactive. Like I heard they trying to do some little snake stuff. I heard that with Marvel, they're gonna come out with a Black trans character. Yeah, you see now they trying to it. You see? So we gotta be positive, we gotta be proactive, we gotta create our own characters before they have Medea with a cape on.
Yeah. What's a Black superhero? Like you got the Green Lantern, you got Black Panther. That's the only ones I was really new. I forgot about Blade. Like,
yeah, Blade. It ain't too many. What Hawk with Marvel, but they make him an ancillary character. He's not even one of the main characters. So yeah, my multiverse thing, when we create all the characters together, that's gonna be the Titan team.
Yeah.
Like how like DC got what's it called, Justice League. Marvel got Avengers. We're gonna have a Titan team when everybody link up.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah, it's gonna be like because in MMA, people don't know the history of MMA, UFC, and all that good stuff. Well, what used to happen is guys back in the day used to have all these different fight styles, right? So fight fans, hypothetically speaking, used to be like, damn, what if this guy that mastered boxing fought this guy that mastered wrestling? What if this guy that mastered jiu-jitsu fight this guy that mastered kickboxing? So you start having all these characters from all these different skill sets come together, and it was like a fan's favorite. So now with my multiverse, now you might like Blind Villain is the bad guy in this book, right? So then my third book, Mr. Liberty, people might be like, what if Mr. Liberty fought this guy and now you could live it out.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Like I love it.
Thanks, brother.
Like what are like some heroes that you looked up to growing up? Like it could be real or it could be like comic.
Well, growing up in Chicago, I was a huge sports fan, so I was huge Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen fan. So I was always sports, Walter Payton, Sammy Sosa, Frank Thomas, then the comic books, Batman. Batman's still my favorite.
Yeah.
So so we get to create something that the kids. I never had the option. I didn't even know Black Panther existed till I was like in my late 20s. They buried that comic book.
I didn't know until like the movie came out.
Yeah, they buried them. Just like they got Wanda Vision now, Wanda Vision. They was in the comic books back in the 60s, but so they got all these characters, but they prop certain ones up and they bury certain ones.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of people don't know, they just start seeing those two characters in the Avengers, but they was in comic books in the 60s.
I love the story, like just flipping pages of a comic book, and then you see, like, even in some movies, they'll show a comic book, like how the movie unfolds. Like they'll turn pages,
Yeah.
and then they're like fighting and stuff. And they got bam, splat, and they got all this. It's cool how the comic books unfold.
Absolutely, and this multiverse is gonna do something new that ain't even been done before. We're gonna have our own books, our own movies, our own movie studios, and our own streaming platform. Ain't nobody did that before. Especially a black man. And it's gonna be funded by us.
That's very innovative. I love it.
No, we don't want no co-deals. I don't want Sony. They ain't gotta call me for anything. Don't want Sony, don't want Lionsgate. We ain't got nothing to talk about, to be real with you.
That's independent. Independent.
Yeah, unless we talking about we putting them out of business and what I'm gonna do with their movie lot. We ain't got nothing to talk about.
So what else you got coming up?
Just continue. Just start getting some equipment. Start practicing shooting. I want to practice shooting for a good 15 years. Because I've been writing for 20 years. I like to master a skill, then sell it. But in the age of the internet, people are selling stuff, then try to master it later.
I can see you doing a documentary.
Oh, absolutely. The whole you dig. I was actually thinking about that, recording.
Yeah.
Because I want people to get the formula, because I want my people to succeed. I'm not over here in competition with nobody.
Yeah, that's great. I love the
thorough. Yeah, I don't feel like nobody could beat me even if they tried.
You seem like you're very awakened.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I'm just aware of everything. I just be on top of everything. Got to be active. Everybody want to be in reactive mode, and that's not the way to live. Like with the whole COVID situation happened, I wasn't tripping at all. I was landscaping everything, but I started diversifying more into crypto and start studying crypto. I'm like, okay, this is the way. You can't shut down digital currency. Start studying that.
Confidence and the ability to be poised on a microphone goes a long way as well. But as far as race announcing goes, if someone wants to try it, I recommend showing up at a teeny tiny local race and giving it a go, asking a race director, say, hey, I'd like to do this for you and I'll do it for free. And, at that point you start improving, you figure out where you didn't do so great on day one, and then you do better the next time. And then as far as what you can do for a cancer patient, so there's a few things you could give monetarily. Sometimes financial hardships are a real issue if someone's uninsured or they just are out of work. Maybe they could use some gift cards to buy gas for their car or food on the table or restaurants, things like that. I like to give of time. Instead of saying, how can I help? Sometimes you just got to show up. Knock on the door with a mop in the hand and say, I'm going to mop your floors for you today, or I'm going to mow your lawn, because people, life still keeps turning, even though you're getting poisoned every week on chemo. So it's important to pitch in and take care of those household chores, provide meals. I think those are tremendous ways to support a person. I had friends that drove me around. There was times where I was just too loopy. It wasn't safe to be behind the wheel. And so they drove me to appointments. More importantly, they drove my children to school, or to activities, which really went a long way. And then last but not least, my book is a great resource for newly diagnosed cancer patients or even people who have gone through it. It's called My Noisy Cancer Comeback, Running at the Mouth While Running for My Life. And, I wrote it for a few reasons. As far as the running community goes, I go way behind the scenes on what it's like to do what I do and work with the people and host those events. So there's a lot of great juicy details on the run, but also I talk about maintaining perspective. I never had a pity party. I cried a lot. I was incredibly stressed, but I never had that why me moment because I was grateful that I wasn't a child going through it and it wasn't my child going through it. And fortunately for me, I had a chance to fight where someone who has an aneurysm and drops dead doesn't have the chance. So perspective went a long way for me, keeping passions involved with my life and then choosing to be positive because, cancer's hard, cancer's scary. However, you get absolutely 0 points for being the saddest girl in the room. So some people feel like they have to take on that woe is me persona. Gee whiz, I have cancer. And I get it. It's hard. I cried my eyes out almost every day. But when someone said something funny, I chose to laugh, and when I cried, I personally chose to cry most of the time in private. I would get in my car and cry, or I would get in my bathroom and cry. And I just didn't want to burden other people. And again, that's a personal decision. But with this book, I teach people how to have mental fortitude while going through it. And then also I talk about all of the kind of juicy, gory details nobody on earth talks about. With cancer, people say, hey, you might be sick, you might be tired, you might be bald. And I was those things, but I also had a bunch of wacky things go on. I had my eyes changed color. My fingernails literally rotted out on my fingers. They rotted on my fingers and they smelled like rotting fingernails. My legs, for some reason, were sore like I had climbed Mount Everest every single day for 6 solid months, which was incredibly hard to deal with while roaming through airports, So I go into all the weeds. I talk about every gory detail about my experiences, the good, bad, and ugly. And my feedback from folks is that they do some crying, but they do far more laughing. And that's important to me, that people are able to, have a good laugh at my expense and then hopefully lift themselves up from whatever hard situation they're dealing with. And then, so if anyone wants to buy the book, it's available hardcover, paper, ebook. It's available wherever books are sold. So Amazon, Barnes and Noble, yada, yada, yada. However, if people come to my site, fitsness.com, I autograph every last one of those books and they all come with a gift with purchase. So if you're going to buy the hard copy of the book, I'd love for you to do it directly through me so I could take good care of you with the inscription.
Amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
That is part of the spiritual journey. You don't know how you're going to make money. You don't know how you're going to eat or live, or you don't even know what type of friends and people you're going to be with. But to move your entire life to a new place, so foreign from where you used to live, is one step of becoming a yogi. You have to be in a place of the world that is so foreign so that you have no attachments to home, family. And that was one of the most exciting things I ever did in my life and the most well done aspects of my life. I have no regrets. That's what I mean. So now, it's my 4th, 5th year as a Dzogchen yogi. I'm still learning about Buddhism and Dharma every day and learning about the Dzogchen practice. And it's just going to go like this until the day I die. And that's what we do as a yogi. We just practice and practice and practice, making sure that we understand the true nature of our mind so that in any situation when death occurs, we are ready to become enlightened so that we can travel pure lands and benefit countless beings in all dimensions, in all realms. We're not just benefiting our own selves, we're benefiting all beings in this world and every other trillions of trichiliocosms of the universe that we have. Because when a Buddha attains enlightenment, it allows all the beings in the universe to attain enlightenment as well. I mean, there's not just one Buddha, there are countless Buddhas in many, many, many other dimensions and galaxies and whatever you want to call them. Buddha is just a term for somebody who has awakened to their nature of mind And it's something that we're all doing right now. You're doing it in your own way. I'm doing it in my own way. And
What, the Buddha conscious?
exactly. Just returning to who we truly are, man.
Okay.
That's all it is. That's
I
all it
wonder
is.
what's outside of space. Like, what's going on? The all-seeing eye is over. It's like aliens.
You live in the East Coast, so if you want to ever go over to, I think, Washington, there's a ranch called ESETI Ranch, and it's the most famous ranch in the world for seeing UFOs and ETs. I mean, they see them every night.
Wow, every night. That's popular.
Yeah, they have night vision goggles. They can see anything in the sky.
Wow.
You're gonna be amazed. You're not gonna wonder what's out there. You're gonna know that there's stuff out there. I mean, just something like that on the map. It says ESETI Ranch, James Gilliland. You can contact him and go hang out with him.
Wow.
On his, you can have contact with ET beings telepathically, physically. The list is endless.
Wow.
I mean, everything's out there if you want it. Just go and get it.
It's like a key that it's like some wisdom that I didn't know about. it's like Grand Theft Auto cheat code.
Yeah, you know what's up, man.
Yeah.
It's a cheat code. The whole map is a cheat code for things that they don't want us to know.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. I had to pause in time for a second just to think about it. I was like, wow. And,
yeah, you've been given
given
the keys to enlightenment. All you got to do is turn it.
Yeah, I'm actually in Louisiana. I'm in the South, but yeah,
Oh yeah.
That's amazing though. But anything you wanted to say, like we could definitely stay
on your plate,
connected.
you want to aim for eating different foods each week. Like a lot of us get stuck into that same routine. Like we have the same salad, the same dinner, the same, every single thing. Like we do the same damn thing every day. And so when you can actually spice that up a bit, your microbiome thrives, and you want to make sure you're getting diversity within that. My go-to foods are always making sure I'm getting, and not like the sexy foods like oysters and like liver, and making sure you're getting starchy vegetables like pumpkin and potatoes, making sure you're getting well cooked vegetables like spinach or zucchini or squash or carrots, making sure you're getting those kind of foods constantly in your diet, and then adding things like avocado, olive oil, all that kind of stuff.
Wow, I'm going shopping next month.
Well, I do. I mean, I have if you go to healingtohappy.com/beat the bloat, I have a grocery list you can download if you want.
Okay, I'm gonna get that. That's awesome. Good tips.
Yeah, of course. It's just simplifying it, right? Like I think we overcomplicate this whole health thing nowadays. So when we can make it simple, make it something we actually enjoy sticking with, that's where we actually find consistent and sustainable change.
Do you have like an education background in nutrition?
Yeah. So my background is psychology and communications, foreground is nutrition consulting, and then I'm a digestive health specialist.
Wow, that's amazing. So like, I'm out of questions, but like, what else you wanted to share?
No, that was kind of it. It's just bringing to light that kind of area, that arena, that health and nutrition is what sets us free, right? It's what welcomes us home. It's how we can amplify our surroundings, the people that we are for the people that are around us. It's really where we're responsible. And I think so often we're giving our power away to diets, or we're saying we're born with this, or we're saying I can't do this and I can't do that. And it's like, no, like you get to respond and you get to choose. And so my job is to just kind of educate and inspire people to think a little bit differently about how we're using health and wellness and really move forward from there.
I'm definitely check out that grocery list.
Yeah, so thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Any links you want to share?
Yeah, so like I said, you can head over to healingtohappy.com/beat the bloat. That's where you get the grocery list. And then
medicine, so that shifts a perspective in many ways, because you get to see like how people just are automatically healthy because of their values and how they live.
So how are these medicines helping? Like I want to go to the Amazon. I want to go to South America now.
Well, you know, when we speak of the medicines, we're generally talking about, if we're talking about that area of the world, we're generally talking about ayahuasca.
Yeah.
We're talking about San Pedro Huachuma. And I would say that that's most of the reason, like, why a Westerner would go, would be to work with one of those medicines. Although it's certainly not limited to just a medicine experience, you know,
Okay.
or with those two. There's hundreds of plant diets you can do in the Amazon that have nothing to do with like visionary medicine per se, but they will have profound impacts, you know, in opening or clearing certain energies and things like that. So, you know, the plants become the teachers. And in a place like the Amazon, you get to see and you get to learn how to listen to the plants. And you learn how to sit still and to receive and to download information and to get out of your mind and get out of your thoughts and to start purging all of this toxic crap that's built up because of whatever, you know, your stuff, watching the news all the time,
Yeah.
living in fear, you know, what anger, you know, all of these things. So we can go there and work with these medicines essentially to detoxify not just our physical body, which the medicines will absolutely do that, but also they're going to detoxify the emotional body, and they're going to help to rewire the energy body.
Wow. It does a lot, like just the emotional and the energy body, like the emotions. I could see like me trying some medicine, I have more smile, like different facial expressions and like smiling and like expressing myself well, like not holding nothing in. And that's with blockages.
So
Like
you feel when you've had that medicine experience, you felt very clear, like an open channel.
like not I haven't tried much medicine, just shrooms and cannabis. But I heard about ayahuasca and Pedro Santo. How you say
San
it?
Pedro,
San
also
Pe-
called Huachuma,
Yeah, I heard of those.
cactus.
Yeah, cactus
And
juice.
those would be like the major grandmother and grandfather medicines. They're not always known as those names, but generally speaking, you know, especially through the more Western lens, they're generally grandmother ayahuasca and grandfather Huachuma. So there's healing to be done with both of those in different ways, and they're complementary.
That's amazing. And some of the services you do that you would like to share for those that's listening, like some of the services.
Well, a really super fun thing to do is to get on a Zoom session where we just basically do some shamanic journeying. It's a little bit like hypnotherapy. We do something more what would be like a bilocation, where we're still here, we're in our bodies, we're grounded into the earth. We can come back to this place very easily if we need to, yet we're also transporting to another timeline. And we do that through the space again of the now. We get into the present moment, we shake down a bunch of stuff, and then we just allow ourselves to we travel into the subconscious. What comes up there is different every single time for every different person. It depends on our intention, where you're feeling things in your body, which timeline needs to be healed, like a past timeline, a current timeline, future timeline, you know. So once we go into that space, we just allow it to happen, and we do healing. We heal wounds. We illuminate shadows. We transform old programs and we rewire them into more optimal programs that help us exist on in a higher vibration, a higher frequency.
Yeah. I think shadow work is it like knowing your history, like illuminating like your history, like shadow
When you say
work.
history, do you mean like what's happened in your lifetime, this lifetime, or your
Yes,
family history, your
like
ancestral history?
lifetime.
Yeah. So shadow work can go way back. It's really timeless, and it lives in our subconscious, and the subconscious doesn't work in this space-time continuum like we live in here in this three-dimensional world. So we end up going into this place where we can just become very still and very quiet, and we tap into this place of what we'll call like the higher self. It's the highest vibration. It can't be hurt. It's the ultimate alchemist and transformer. Then when we're allowing a shadow to be seen, we're illuminating it, we're shining our light on it, we're just taking a good look at it. Shadows are blind spots. They're things we don't like to hear about ourselves, right? But you
Yeah.
hear them and then you keep going like, no, I hate it when people say that about me. Well, that's a shadow, oh, that's not me. That's a blind spot. If you're hearing these things all the time, there's probably some truth to it. Let's just not be afraid of it. Let's take a good look at it. Let's get to the root of it. Let's transform it. Let's fill it with light. And then we're automatically just now at this higher vibration.
Are still connected on what you think is the right way, and they're thinking they're still within their stance of what they think is right, and you're just meeting in the middle. You haven't connected together to resolve it. You haven't bound together as a team to actually understand one another. You're still just forcefully finding that middle point, like that fence. Like you just have the fence now, and you're like, okay, this is the center point. This is where I'm going to shuffle the snow until, thinking of like examples with your neighbors, like, okay, that's the part that I'll stop. When the snow comes, I'm going to shuffle the snow on the sidewalk. But we believe that, you're right in that when it comes to communication, it's not just about getting that outcome. It's about, are you able to find that connection even if there are like these overwhelming emotions involved? Like even if the feelings are uncomfortable, or you feel disappointed or sad or hurt, like, can you still be open to that? Or are you just trying to figure out that eject button, that thing you can do so you resolve it as quickly as you can, you find some conclusion, some agreement to come to, some compromise, so then it's over. You don't have to deal with it. But from what we've seen from a lot of people, these agreements that people kind of get to after these arguments or fights, they still don't feel right. Because they still haven't connected to their partner. They're still struggling with the topic, and they still don't recognize each other as people in the room.
Yeah, I had an ex. She cursed me out. Like I just left her. Like she was cursing me out. Like all kind of stuff. Like I felt like it was hostile, and like because I didn't talk to her for like most of the day. Like one time, like we didn't live together, but like I'll go visit her, and like it felt hostile and manipulative, like and financially and emotional unstable. Like so I just got out of it. We weren't together that long. I have a problem not holding on so long, like to like relationships. But it's more than physical. I think relationships are more than physical.
Yeah, I think that's a really important part because especially when it comes to attraction, people are focusing too much on the physical, thinking all attraction is physical. No, attraction is energetic, and there's a lot that can be done to drop deeper into the relationship where the attraction goes beyond just, well, do you look pretty or not? So yeah, you're spot on that it's more than physical.
Emotional, spiritual, mental. It's all
When
that.
I'm
Like,
on tour, a lot of times I'll be in a burger joint like Whataburger or McDonald's or something like that. And someone will come to me and say, you can't hypnotize me. And I saw your show and it was all bogus and whatever. So I will do rapid induction right there on the spot in the burger joint and put them right in trance, make them so they can't swallow or something like that, just so they understand the reality of it. And then they'll come out of it. So yeah, if people have a dramatic need or a dramatic reason, you can actually place them in trance quickly and help them to make rapid changes in a positive way.
and what are the benefits of hypnotherapy and being a hypnotist?
Well, I think one of the biggest benefits of doing hypnotherapy is that you're learning a skill. You know, a lot of people in this life, they teach us what to put in our mind. You know, you go to school or college or whatever all your life, they're putting things in your head, right? They're putting information in like a hard drive on a computer, just putting it in. But they're not teaching you how to use that hard drive, how to master that hard drive. So with hypnotherapy, you're gaining a skill. In fact, when I do sessions, following any session, I always give the client an audio, a self-hypnosis audio, because you're going to eventually learn to hypnotize yourself. You're going to do self-hypnosis. It's going to be something that's going to benefit you long-term. So whenever you're under stress, whenever you have a situation, you can self-hypnotize yourself. And in doing so, you now have a skill to help yourself on a daily basis. I hypnotize myself all the time when I go to sleep at night, because often at night, you know, I've had a busy day like you probably do, a lot of things happening, hard to shut off your mind. So I do a self-hypnosis process when I go to sleep, and I go to sleep quite rapidly and sleep really well and really deep. So the benefits of that, and also, as I mentioned, versus psychiatry or psychologists, it's very rapid. So either you get relief in the first 2 or 3 meetings, or you don't. And if you don't, then you move on. So it's rapid, it's quick, it helps you to find a solution that you find within yourself that was always there, but you just never unlocked. And you gain a skill that's long-term, that's going to benefit you for many, many years, your whole life, really.
Like, it's great to do at sunrise, but you can do it at any time when the sun's out. And it's like really like inhaling the sun, like consuming the sun and letting the sun like nourish you and feed you.
I have to do that one.
Yeah.
How I go?
Basically you focus on the sun. I love to do it in the morning when it's just rising, but you focus on the sun and you breathe in the sun and you breathe in the sun's energy and you let it nourish you, almost like you don't have to eat, because you're getting all of your nourishment from the sun, and you just breathe it in and then you exhale, and you keep focusing on the sun for as long as you'd like.
Wow, that's cool. I heard of Zen meditation. I remember my teacher was talking about that back in massage school, Zen meditation.
Mm-hmm. And what does that look like?
He said they'll be meditating. There'll be like a group of them in a circle, like they'll be on a retreat or something, and like they're meditating for all day.
Mm-hmm.
They're just sitting all day meditating,
Oh yeah.
like for hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually at a meditation retreat, that's the main focus. That's what you spend most of your time doing. And it's nice to be supported with others who are also doing the same thing.
Yeah, I learned meditation. It was a couple years ago when I started meditating, and I'll use the
Mhm.
Insight Timer app.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I used to use some of those apps.
So what you got coming up?
I just booked a trip to Michigan. I'm gonna go to Michigan for a couple days, maybe do some skiing,
That's cool.
and I'm working on my book.
What's it called?
It's a memoir, so it's about my life. I don't have a title yet,
What's some
but I'm
things you're
almost
gonna
done with
cover?
it.
Well, I don't want
It's
to
a
give it away.
it's a memoir, so it's about my life.
Okay.
So
You can give us an insider, like the creative process of how you're writing, like how it came.
yeah, right now I'm in the blueprinting stage, and so I'm basically I outlined, and now I'm going back in and chunking out the writing. So I'm about halfway through.
That's so cool. Like I wrote a book like it took me 5 years to put it together, and I had an editor.
Mm-hmm.
Just got to get better on the marketing and the promotion side. I might have to get it edited again because I added some words.
Yeah. Yeah, 5 years sounds about right.
Yeah,
Probably when I'm all said and done, it'll probably be about 5 years. I've been working on it for a while.
When you're ready to release it, just it working in the right timing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a process. I thought I was done, and then I got some new ideas, and now I'm doing a whole new rewrite. So it's exciting, and it's a lot of work, and it's very rewarding.
When you have a copy of it in your hand, you'll be like, man, look what I've achieved.
Yeah.
I always find it so interesting to see what people collect. You learn a lot about someone by what they choose to keep, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you could only keep one thing in your room, if look around and if you had to leave the room right now and only take one thing with you, what would you take?
I'll probably have a couple things.
Do it. So what would it be?
My laptop, my phone, and my journal and pen.
Oh, I like that.
That's what keeps me together.
Oh, I would take my poetry journal, and because I love writing poetry and none of it's typed up yet. So I'd want to take my poetry journal, and I would want to take, I would take this. I have this shark tooth, this megalodon shark tooth, and I would take that.
I'll take the Sapsuma that I got over there.
It's coming with you. Have you ever gotten rid of something you wish you hadn't?
Oh, one time I gave away a file cabinet. Like I was trying to put it into a garage sale, but then my dad told me to keep it. Then I gave it to them, and then now it's outside. It's still outside, like just putting like gloves in there and lighter fluid and stuff, outside stuff that put it in there. But using it for something though.
Yeah. How funny.
I paid like $90-something for it.
I know. It's hard to watch the things that used to be ours like in another place.
Yeah.
I moved and I gave a lot of my stuff to my friend, and her house now looks like my house because she has so much of my stuff. And it's every time I walk into her house, I feel like I'm walking into my house. It's like so startling to me. I'm like, that's my couch. That's my statue. That's, it's like, it takes me a second.
Yeah. Like what other stuff you get into with business wise?
Yeah. So I do. So, there's a lot that's layered in. So like I said earlier, talking about like the different rooms of our home and how they all mean something different, but also like items have energy. So there's the energy that we put into them. There's the energy when they're made. There's the energy of the materials that they're made of. There's maybe if someone else owned this, their energy, so sometimes when I'm working with people, I'll actually be channeling spirit. Like it kind of becomes like a mediumship circle. Like suddenly I'm like, your mom is here and she wants me to tell you that. It's like, it's a really interesting thing to see what comes out of physical stuff,
Wow. So what would you describe yourself like a professional organizer, and like when it comes to the spiritual side, what would you call that?
Yeah, I know. It's I think I'd say like a spiritual organizer, or that's when the clutter whisperer would also be good. So either a clutter whisperer, spiritual organizer. It's one of those things where like I wouldn't want to sit and do psychic readings all day. That would not be my jam at all. But I love when it comes through. It's almost like I don't always get to decide when it comes through, but suddenly it's just so clear what's happening. So I just allow it to happen. But I would never want to scare anyone off because I can do sessions and never do that. I don't want to freak anybody out, but also it's a really cool thing to have come up because some people need to have that spiritual confirmation to feel like they can move on, or to feel like they can let something go, or to feel like they've made the right decision. And so it can be really helpful to have that spiritual awareness also.
You say you don't want to freak no one out.
Yeah. But it's too late, isn't it?
But yeah, intuition, like that it's pretty cool though. Like I have my own lyrics in the second part, but like just hearing me say like just the two of us. Like I was
That's
singing that
awesome.
I was singing that on the song.
Wow, how fun. Yeah, I would love to sing, but I get so scared to sing because I have a really high voice range. I have like the kind of voice range that would break a glass. Like, so it's not like you can do anything fun with that. Like I can't go to like karaoke and sing easily. It's like I feel like my voice is like I should have been in the opera, you know?
Yeah, you break a window
Like
with
pretty
your
much,
voice.
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what else you like about music? Like
Oof. I mean, music, it's just, I mean, I feel like it transports you to a moment of an experience. You know, it's like those moments where we hear a song and we just like either the beat hits it is in a certain way that we feel it in our body, or it reminds us of someone or something. Like, I mean, there's been so many times over the years where a song will play and I just feel like it's like the, you know, the story of my life. And I just listen to it over and over and over again because I can like feel it in my body. You know,
those
it's just like,
lyrics.
yes, and just even how the music comes in, and there's still some songs that like I'll change if other people are around because they're so personal to me. Like I don't want to have that experience around other people. It's like, no, 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 this is my private moment. Go away. You know, it's like because they're just it's so powerful how they feel like they're speaking to your soul.
Yeah. You spoke about like the spiritual side of organizing. Like
Yeah.
like what other stuff you get into in with business wise?
Yeah, so I do so you know, there's a lot that's layered in. So like I said earlier, talking about like the different rooms of our home and how they all mean something different, but also like items have energy. So there's the energy that we put into them, there's the energy when they're made, there's the energy of the materials that they're made of, there's maybe if someone else owned this, their energy, you know. So sometimes when I'm working with people, I'll actually be channeling spirit. Like I'll actually, it kind of becomes like a mediumship
Oh.
circle. Like suddenly I'm like, your mom is here and she wants me to tell you that. It's like it's a really interesting thing to
Wow.
see what comes out of physical stuff, you know?
Wow. So what would you describe yourself like a professional organizer, and like when it comes to the spiritual side, what would you call that?
Yeah, I know. It's like I think I'd say like a spiritual organizer, or that's when the clutter whisperer would also be good. So either a clutter whisperer or spiritual organizer. It's one of those things where like I wouldn't want to sit and do psychic readings all day. That would not be my jam at all. But I love when it comes through. It's almost like I don't always get to decide when it comes through, but suddenly it's just so clear what's happening.
Yeah.
So I just allow it to happen. But I would never want to scare anyone off because I can do sessions and never do that. You know, I don't want to freak anybody out. But also, it's a really cool thing to have come up because some people need to have that spiritual confirmation to feel like they can move on, or to feel like they can let something go, or to feel like they've made the right decision. And so it can be really helpful to have that spiritual awareness also.
You say you don't want to freak no one out.
Yeah. But
but
it's too late, isn't it?
but yeah, intuition, like that intuition, like I totally get it. Like the intuition about like where things come from and like why is it like the way it is, like what happened to you for you to have clutter.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, the truth is that like you know, the clutter is a friend. The clutter is here to help us. And so if we get still and we try to listen to the vibes of the objects, it will actually give us a lot of information of how we change our lives for the better. And that's in my mind one of the most important things we can do is to go slow enough and to be aware enough to notice what feels good to us and bad to us and act accordingly, instead of just rushing through and saying, oh, I got it done. Instead, allow it to open you up and help you become even more strongly who you are meant to be in this life.
And it's productive too to be organized. I like to go through my files sometimes, like and
Yeah.
just look through all my papers, throw away what I don't need, keep what I want, throw away what I don't need. It's called quality control.
Oh, I love that. Oh, Paul, that's so great. I love quality control. It's giving it like a once over. Just yes, thank you and no.
Yeah.
Is it opens us up to how we can take control of our life in the most powerful sense, like to be able to know and decode what is really happening in your life without letting the wool be pulled over your eyes, because it's so easy to get busy and just be like, I don't have time to do this. I don't like, there's always a message hiding in your mess.
Yeah.
And when we can decode that, you can set yourself free. So right now I'm working on that right now. It's going to launch in April. And that is just like, I'm so excited. You're doing the thing you're supposed to do when you like are excited about something as nerdy as organizing. I don't know many people who feel that way.
That's my language when you talk about like chakras. Like that's my language. I went to school for massage therapy.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So, it's, I love the connection. And when I was discovering this, over the past few years, it was really cool. And then what that knowledge did is it took an area that seems really benign, like an area that seems like it doesn't mean anything. The entryway is a perfect example of this. The entryway in your front yard. Most people don't think about the entryway or their front yard when they organize a space, right? It's like that's an afterthought for most people. Oh, it's fine. They think, oh no, I've got a decorator garden or whatever. But the truth is that the entryway is the way that you receive people from the outside world and how you go and send yourself out into the world. And when you know that about yourself, it becomes so powerful. And when you're digging into the third eye and you're digging into, this insight and awareness and not so superficial, and starts being this life transforming process where you can say, oh no, that's not how I want to deal with my life. That's not how I want to live my life. And it really does shift how you do everything by being able to look at things with a new light.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks. Do you have a favorite chakra?
I got like about 3 of them.
Which ones are your favorite?
I like the throat chakra.
Mm-hmm.
I like what else? The mind chakra, and I like the crown chakra.
The crown chakra. Yeah, I love that, the spiritual connectedness of the crown and the third eye, like
The heart.
Yeah, and even the power chakra, right? It's like your solar plexus chakra, like that. Wow.
You need them all.
I know, right? We need them. I try to do a meditation every day where I just touch base with each one. I just try to make contact with each one so that I know that they're all up and online and working and flowing. I just want like the whole energy field in my body to be healthy and
I know how to do that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I do like a chakra scan. It's like I'll pray for like 45 minutes, then I'll do like I don't know if I created this myself, but like I'll do like after I pray, like I'll do a chakra scan, like I'll just do like that and just go over the chakras. And like if I feel heat, like it tells me like what's in that area, like, and I meditate on like what's going on in the body.
Oh, I love that.
And then I'll do a log. I'll do a prayer log after. Like I'll do a chakra man on the paper.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll put the chakras and like I'll draw a man. It's a chakra man, and then I'll just like document next to it, like
You're like a doctor. You're a chakra doctor.
yeah, like you know how doctors and medical people they have like soap charts. They have like all these charts, and like it's just like that. Like just
Totally.
paying attention to like what's going on in your life when it relates to the chakras.
Yeah, that's what I do with the spaces, right? I just pay attention to what the different areas are showing me. I think of open space feels like light, bright, like easeful energy, and the dense, cluttered spaces feel a little bit heavier and just like a little more weighty. And so, yeah, kind of like what you're describing with your chakra man. It's the same thing with the space where you look around and you feel out, where does the energy feel really heavy and dense, and where does it feel light and open? And yeah,
I'll burn sage, burn some Palo Santo.
oh yeah, I've
Cleanse the
got
space.
everything over there. Totally. I'm obsessed with oh my gosh.
You said you got everything over there?
I do. Yeah, it's all right over there. Oh my gosh, but I can't. There's one. Oh, copal is my favorite. I didn't discover copal until a few years ago, and it's sap from a tree in New Mexico, and it just when I smell it, my whole body just relaxes like 3
Okay.
inches down. It's such a, I don't know why I'm obsessed with it. It's delicious. And lemongrass, so nice.
You love sage?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. How often do you sage your place?
Not all the time, because like I live with my parents, so like sometimes they don't like the smell. They say it smell like like cannabis flower.
Yeah, totally, totally. You're like, it's not, it's not.
It's sage.
Totally. It's helping the energy. It's fine.
It's cleansing the space.
Exactly, exactly. Oh.
So what else about the chakras? Like I was thinking about that. I had something in mind, but I forgot what I was gonna say. Like about the chakras. Yeah, like we're as unique as we are. Like we're really powerful beings, and
Yeah.
like when it comes to the chakras, like we're connected to something. Like so, like when we meditate on that, like we know what we're connected to. Like, and we're connected to a lot of stuff, like in the universe.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I mean, and it also makes me think of, right, how we do anything is how we do everything. And so being aware that our body ties into our space around us, ties into the energy around us, ties into the things that we're creating, it's so powerful. I mean, it really is a gift to be able to see our physical spaces and our bodies with that holistic understanding, where it's, because once you know what zone you're in, right? Like if you know that you're in, the crown chakra, you might have a mantra, right? You might be able to choose a mantra that feels a little bit more connecting for you. Maybe the mantra is I understand, or I am connected, or I am one with all of this. Once you know where the block is, then you can start expanding a little bit more energy into it. If it's your root chakra, maybe it's feeling that need for survival. Like you could always come back to a mantra, I am grounded, or I always have enough. My needs are always met. And just knowing where the block is, you can start to create a wellness plan with your mind, just by as simple as with directing your thoughts.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah.
So, any social links you want to plug in, or any things you
Ah,
want to how you want to wrap up?
yeah, so for sure. So you all can find me on my website at starhansen.com, and the membership is at turnchaos2calm.com, and that's the chaos to calm organizing membership. And then my social, you can find me on Facebook really easily, and also on Instagram at star.hansen. And yeah, I share all my classes on there. I do a free class every single month. I do organizing challenges. We do group organizing sessions. It is just a blast. So I would be overjoyed to connect with any of your listeners.
Anything you want to share before we go? I didn't want to cut you off too soon. Or
No, I just want to say thank you so much for having me, Paul. It has been an absolute treat to talk to you. I'm so grateful to have this conversation, and thank you for all the beautiful work that you're doing in the world.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Like it was a joy to talk to you, and like it was engaging and fun. Like I love that we had a conversation. We got on the podcast to talk about organizing.
Me too. Me too. Thank you so much.
We had a blast though. Like
Yeah, we did.
and for more episodes, like every Friday at 1 p.m. U.S. Central Time, you can check out Free Time Free Spill. It's on all platforms like Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. You can leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. I got a YouTube channel for Free Time Free Spill. Thank you. Thank you, Star.
Thank you so much, Paul.
All right. Has it launched yet?
It's going to start launching next month. So it's called The Meaning of Stuff, and you can find it at meaningofstuff.com. And yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. But it's funny because I talk about the philosophies of it all the time, what your rooms mean, what they symbolize, what the objects symbolize, and how you can decode that. But it's to be able to write it down so people can actually have a practical guide for this process is so important. So that's lighting my fire. And the other thing I think that it's doing also is it's giving me an opportunity to reimagine how I take care of myself, because I do feel like the way that we take care of ourselves does come out in the work we do, the quality of our interactions with people, our own happiness. And so also knowing that I can't just become a workaholic for the next 3 weeks. I also need to say, I am going to show up for myself in the next few weeks, and just really, how can I feed my soul while creating soulful offerings for people who need them, and allowing that to be a dance instead of like a task to complete.
That's amazing. I was saging and I used some Palo Santo the other day, and I noticed the space was cleansed, and like I started doing things. I was moving around, and I love organizing. Like I made up my bed, and like I still got clothes on the floor, but like I gotta get that together. But like I noticed like the space is cleansed like when you're moving and like organizing.
Yeah, it's you know it's funny, the clothes is a big thing. Like notice that it's like the clothes are about our image, and you're probably in this phase of deciding who you're going to be in this new chapter. So I feel like the clothes are a little bit of, so oftentimes for people they're a little bit of like, hey, we're trying on these clothes, like this kind of like, oh, I'm trying on this style of myself and this style of myself, and like this doesn't work but this does, and acknowledging that there's like a part of us that's exploring. And it's, I mean, you say I've got these clothes on the floor and I light up with goosebumps because I know you're stepping into your skin, and like what a
Yeah.
gift that is for the rest of the world, for you to say like, I'm finding me, and then I'm going to shine that light, and woo, watch out world. You know, it's like, we need your light. Your light is
Yes,
so
ma'am.
important. So yeah, I'm excited.
I love it. Yeah, organizing, like I love like just cleaning the space, and like I feel happy about it, like where I'm at right now, like with my organization skills, like I feel good about like how everything is, like everything is in order, like it's not like a room full of stuff, like everything is good, like my space is good.
Yeah, that's great. That's beautiful. I'm so glad. Yeah, it's so good to catch up with you and hear how you're doing, and just find out that you've been reflecting on these things, and then also that you're taking such beautiful action in your own life towards, you know, creating the experience you want to share with everyone.
You use sage too? Like I notice I feel balance. I feel the balance like when I light sage.
Do I have some here? Sometimes I do. It's funny. I had it. Oh, what I do, it's at the top. There's like,
Okay.
so I have sage there. I've got an altar over here. So I have like this whole big altar set up, where I have sage and Palo Santo, and I have lemongrass, and I have copal, which is one of my favorite scents. Like it's an incense, but it's if it's from New Mexico, it's a sap from a tree, and they turn it into an incense, and it's just like, it smells so good. So yeah, before I meditate, I'm like saging myself and my altar, and it's
Yeah,
like all the things.
that's
It's
great.
such a good practice. Yeah.
That's great. I remember like when we did our episode, like we was having a good time.
I know. It's so easy to talk to you and just kind of play. Yeah, it's really, you know what I've been playing with in my mind is wanting to play with more. I just went to Sedona last weekend, and Sedona is just such an incredible spiritual place. And my partner and I were walking around and exploring, and we went into some of the gemstone shops, and it just, how people can suss out the symbolic nature of stones is incredible. And it made me really feel inspired to start using more stones. Like I do have gemstones all over, right? You see them back here and up there, and like they're all over. But mindfully, these are ones that I just felt drawn to, but mindfully say, oh, I'm working on this project, so I want to have these stones with me, and really start to use them almost like medicine, have the energy of the stones around me like medicine, I think is something that just sounds and feels really exciting to me right now.
Yeah, something about those stones and the crystals, like it can cleanse your aura or cleanse you.
Absolutely.
It'll suck all the like the darkness and the negativity out of person, like just having a stone or a crystal.
Yeah, or sometimes it ignites something else, right? Like I have this little stone with me too at my desk. Like I love to have, you know, it's like sometimes they help you with radiation, sometimes they help bring, you know, like connection with your ancestors, and sometimes they pull negative energy or toxins, but you know, other times they help dissipate trauma. And I mean, it's beautiful because there is a different energy for every stone. And then you've got the idea too that this stone has had its own life experience, and so it brings with its own special energy into my house, and we have a relationship together. So it's really, I don't know, I think it's really cool when you start playing with gemstones, or you know, essential oils, or any of these things that really help us to take our awareness and our intuition to the next level.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So anything you want to share or like before?
So what, tell me about, like, let's just, do you want to play a little bit? Is
Yeah.
that cool?
Yeah,
Let's
sure.
do it. All right. So I have another way that we can play, but right now you're inspiring me, Paul. So just tell me, like, in basketball, what gift do you think you gave to people when you were playing basketball? Do you think you helped people to feel confident? Did you help them to feel, you know, inspired? Did you feel like the sense of freedom or flow? Like, what was going on? Tell me a little bit about it.
Like I must was the oldest, like, cause I was in the 8th grade, and like like going up into that time, like I was also silly. Like I was a good role model. Like I was a class clown at the same time, and like people would laugh, and like I make people laugh. And I was also good at basketball. Like I had skills, and I can shoot, I can dribble. I would watch N1 tapes and all kind of different basketball stuff. But even though we lost some games, like we didn't have that much eighth graders on our team, and like when the hurricane came, like for Katrina, like New Orleans people came, and like our team was really good. Like those New Orleans, it was just as good as me and even better. And when they left, like we just had like 3 eighth graders, and like it was different. Like one game I scored 28 points.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, so what I'm hearing from you is it sounds like, moments of success, and we can do a deeper exercise right now, but I'm just going to point out one thing for everyone listening. We're seeing fun and silliness and committed, right? You're watching all of these tapes over and over again. You are incredibly committed. Now, just from that example, I'm going to guess that you've probably been hard on yourself at times in your life and tell yourself that you don't have follow through, or you haven't finished things, or you haven't necessarily been totally committed to everything. Because whenever I see somebody who's got committed as one of their sensitivities, they're usually a person who's deeply committed to what they're passionate about, but they kind of shame and blame themselves when they aren't following through or aren't committed on these other things. And so what I would say to you, I don't know you from a hole in the wall other than these few minutes that we've had together, but I would say to you, just in what the story you told me, is that be really goofy, be really fun, and be super committed. And literally, this could be now web copy. Like, let's just pretend. And by the way, we have not mapped your sensitivities. We're just playing here. But you could literally say, I'm committed to making you the best version of yourself through fun and goofiness and letting yourself have a good time. Like, that could be something you actually put on your website, just in the 3 words that we've gotten today, because it starts to express who you are. That's what you do. Your brand, in your music and everything, it's got to be a little bit fun. It's got to be a little bit goofy. It's got to be, deeply committed too, because that's going to help people feel you. When they hear the music, they're going to say like, oh yeah, I can feel his essence. I can't get that from anywhere else. The thing about sensitivities and essence is it makes us so clear on who we are, and more importantly, who we're not. And I have spent so much time in my life trying to be somebody that I'm not. And now I'm kind of like, no, I don't need to be that. Who I am is good enough. I'm clear on who I am. I can go partner with people or hire people or be friends with people who are those other things. And that's fantastic. Let them stay in their zone of genius. That's where they shine. But I know where I shine. And I'm not going to put myself in bad containers anymore. I'm not going to keep putting myself places that don't make me shine and beating myself up and telling myself I'm not good enough. I'm going to only choose places where I do shine, and then I'm going to feel great because I know my sensitivities. So, I mean, if you want, Paul, we can do a whole mapping exercise today, and I can do a little bit more with you, but
Yeah.
I don't want to take over here.
I mean, it'd be fun. Like that's interesting because like I have a lot to unwrap. Like with like just coming up out of high school, because I dropped out and like I tore my ACL. That what made me gave up on life. Like when I tore my ACL meniscus playing basketball at PE, and like I thought I got off the ground because I was exercising the day before. I thought I got off the ground, and then I was trying to do a turnaround dunk, and I twisted. I thought I was already in the air, and I twisted my leg, and I tore my ACL.
So sorry to hear that.
I gave up, and then I dropped out in 11th grade. Also, like I got my GED, and I gained a passion to write, and it led up to speaking, which I do now, like with podcasting.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I mean, we can see already some of those themes of like commitment and putting, I mean, at such a young age, and like you've had this adversity, and yet it's not stopping you. You're still getting out there, and you're still doing so many other things to try to help the world.
Massage therapy graduate.
Yeah.
Now in radio broadcasting school. Like it's just 20 weeks.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you. You're inspiring me today. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So if you want, we can play. And again, for anyone listening who's kind of like, oh, Mike, I wish you were doing this for me. Just go to mikeiamele.com/map. It's free. It's only 36 minutes. You'll get a worksheet. It's just a training to train you right through it. And you'll be able to do what we're doing today and even more, actually. So, okay.
Yeah, I'll leave it in the show notes.
Yeah, perfect. I love it. All right, Paul. So take a moment, and I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to think of 3 jobs you've had or roles you've played. And so it doesn't have to be a formal job. It could certainly be a job that you had, but it also could be like playing basketball, being a basketball player or being a podcaster. So, you don't necessarily had to have made money doing this, but it was something you did in your life. So I want you to just tell me one of those jobs or those roles right now. And when you tell it to me, I want you to tell me 3 things that you made people feel in that job. So did you make people feel safe? Did you make them feel inspired? Did you make them feel heard? Did you make them feel connected, empowered, whatever? So give me one of those jobs and 3 things you made people feel.
I think about I thought about 2 so far.
Okay.
Or
Tell
2,
me one of them.
3. I got when I was working at Borden's, also when
Mhm.
I was working at the Cajun Dome, like an
Okay.
event center,
Mhm.
and also massage therapy.
Perfect. All right. So let's start with one of those. Pick one and tell me 3 things you made people feel.
For the Cajun Dome, the event center,
Mhm.
one time it was just a good moment, like ice skater games and different
Mhm.
sporting events and WWE and all that. One time this lady came out the bathroom and I noticed she had like toilet paper on her shoe, and I was trying to signal for like to her, and then I stepped on the toilet paper. She was like, "Thank you," like she was like charismatic person.
Yeah. How sweet of
And
you.
I
So
had my broom in my dustpan already.
yeah, so it sounds like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but it sounds like, you gave people this gift of kind of maybe conscientiousness or caring, or, do you feel like that's something that maybe you gave to people through that job?
Yeah, I have a big heart, and like just being nice to people and polite, and just in my own way of responding to my own expression, uh
Yeah.
like that. And also Borden's, I guess I make people feel cool. Like it's a milk plant job. It's just like it's mostly men that's in the plant, but uh it's like brotherly, like friendship, like.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
massage therapy school was pretty cool. Like all the clients that I worked on, like they were really nice. They gave me good feedback and surveys. They was like they look forward to like one said she wish she could put me in her purse and take me home with her.
I love that. So, what do you think it was that they liked so much? Why did this woman want to take you home with her? Like, what were you
Because
listening really well? Like, what were you
the
doing?
massage itself, like, and how nice, how I care for her, like how how I like my communication style, and just the way I treated her as in the massage, like how professional it was and stuff.
Yeah, I see that. Thank you. That's really helpful. All right. So now I want you to close your eyes and I want you to think of one of the hardest, most challenging moments of your life that does not feel re-traumatizing to think about. So nothing that feels traumatic to think about, but any moment that was just like, shoot, that was really a hard moment in my life. And as you're thinking about it, you don't have to tell me what it is if you don't want, but I just want you to tell me 3 things you felt in that moment.
You can repeat the question.
Yeah, I can. So, just a really hard moment of your life you're thinking about, and I just want you to tell me 3 things you felt in that moment.
Anytime I got in fights, like
Okay.
especially with family members, like a
Mhm.
brother, like stuff like that.
So, and what did you feel when you were in fights with people?
I feel like it could have been avoided, or
Mhm.
like it's a better way. Like when I look back on it, like when I was younger, like I love fighting. Like when I was younger, for some reason, like just knocking people down. Like I don't even keep fighting them. I just like when they knock down, like that's it. Like I don't keep
Mm.
going.
But what did you feel like sad? Did you feel angry? Like what did you personally feel when you were in these
I felt
fights?
like I was a bull or something. Like just knocking them down. Like after a couple hits, like and they fall down. Like it's just like almost like boxing, but it's not. But like for recess or something like that, like just like they coming against me, and like it's I don't know if it was like rage or manic.
Yeah. All right. So a lot of rage, a lot of mania. All right. This is perfect. And so if you had this kind of magic wand and you could make yourself feel anything else, you kind of change the situations, you weren't in these rageful, manic fights, what do you think you would have wanted to feel in those moments?
It's an educational moment, and not so fighting. Like because I'm a lover.
Yeah. So maybe you want to feel love, peace, harmony, things like that.
Yeah, I like to relate to people. I'm not about violence. Like I grew not to be like that. Like even though
Mhm.
that's just times at recess, I was still genuine and stuff. And like
Yeah.
we'd be talking afterwards, like the person that I fight with.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. You're doing so well here. Thank you. So I want you one more time, close your eyes one final time, and I want you to think of one of the happiest, most successful moments of your life, a moment that just felt really, really good. And I just want you to tell me about it and tell me 3 things you felt.
When I got my GED, I felt like it was success. And
Hmm.
like when I got my GED, when I got that, like I felt like I could do anything. Like nothing's stopping me, nothing's holding me back. Like I can move out of the state. I can do whatever I
Hmm.
want because
Hmm.
now I got that diploma.
That's right. Awesome, awesome. So do you feel really successful? You felt proud of yourself?
Yeah, I was ahead of the game because a lot of people didn't get their GEDs or
Mhm.
like I was ahead of the game.
Awesome, awesome. This is so good. Okay. So, obviously, we're just kind of this our shoddy version here. And, that training is a little bit more, sophisticated, but we're just playing today. We're already seeing some themes come up for you. You are a person who is incredibly caring. You're a person who wants harmony, right? You want kind of bring things together, bring different voices, different viewpoints together. You are a person who, really honors, being proud. You want to be proud of yourself, proud of people, proud of your community, proud of whoever's out there, your friends. You're a person who we talked about before is deeply committed and also is kind of fun and goofy. So let's just say in what we saw, I'll give you a few words: goofy, proud, harmony, harmonizing,
Karen,
loving, caring. That's right. Yep, exactly. So we got a few words like that. All right. Now here's where we get to really play. I'm going to guess that the happiest, most successful moments of your life all felt very harmonizing, caring, proud, successful, fun and goofy. And moments that were really bad or traumatic felt the opposite of those, whatever that means to you. Maybe it felt, like people didn't care. Maybe it felt like not loving or not, fun. Things felt very serious and too tough. Maybe things felt like not committed, that people weren't showing up for one another.
are
We
disappointed,
now, sorry, what'd
slapping,
you say?
are disappointed and
Disappointed.
slap in the face.
Sure, that sounds exactly right. Yeah, and especially proud, right? The opposite of proud we're thinking of now, disappointed. So now we're seeing your sensitivities. And this is, again, just our rough version here, but we're starting to see, oh, these make sense. So now I'm going to guess that if ever you were on an interview, let's pretend we roll reversal and I'm interviewing you and I said, hey, Paul, let's ask a question. Why is important today? And you think, oh gosh, I don't know the answer. And you go back to these sensitivities and say, well, Mike, what I'll tell you right now is I think that there's a lot of disharmony in the world today. And we need to hear these stories and, harmonize and come together and hear different viewpoints and different stories and feel proud of our experiences and celebrate our unique experiences and the unique voices who aren't being heard right now and actually care, as a community, come together and care about one another and care about what we're doing and, celebrate ourselves so that and have fun and have these free-flowing goofy conversations. It doesn't have to be so hard. We can have fun but also harmonize and bring people together.
Yeah.
Now obviously you can do a better job than I did. I just made that up on the spot, but my point is that I'm going to guess that something like that might be something that you believe, because we see your sensitivities now. We know that. I'm not surprised you're a podcaster. You are harmonizing, bringing people together, right? Celebrating, being proud, being fun and goofy. Like that makes sense. That's a good container for you. I'm going to guess your best friendships are ones where you can be fun and goofy, where people celebrate you and are proud of you,
Yeah,
where you can
exactly.
harmonize and come together. So now friendships, relationships, dating, the way you dress in the morning. Maybe you're a person who I wouldn't be shocked if you were the type of person who likes to wear like monochromatic, like one color. Because if it with a word like harmonize, you might want to match, or you might want to wear certain colors that go together, because now we see a sensitivity going on there. And so all we're doing is saying, who am I and how do I keep putting myself in that exact place of success over and over again?
That's so cool.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's really, people always say to me like, oh my God, Mike, you got to be so self-aware. You don't. Anybody can do this. I promise you, every person listening is going to say, I am too all over the place for this. You're not as all over the place as me. I am all over the place. And I told you that story at the beginning because I want to show you what a mess I felt like. I've got this sickness and herbalism and blogging and branding and coaching, and like it didn't make any sense to me. In my article, my relationship, and then understanding my sensitivities, it all came together. In our whole lives, we will be growing and changing. We will be doing a whole bunch of different diverse things, but we are the constant. Our sensitivities are always the same. And when we understand that, we can keep growing in new ways while putting ourselves in the place of success.
That was a good exercise.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's, like I said, I do this 2.5 hours. So that's my 5-minute super short version. If you want something a little bit better, go to that training because you can get 36 minutes. But yeah, I think it's really work I'm passionate about, and I feel like everyone deserves access. You've got the data, you've got the lived experience. All we've got to do is map it.
Yeah. Yeah. And any links you would like to share? I love how you was talking about how it engaged, the exercise engaged people.
Yeah, of course. So, you can go to that mikeiamelli.com/map, M-A-P. I think Paul's going to put in the show notes. And that you are welcome to go sign up. It's a free training. It's 36 minutes. You'll have a worksheet. You're going to go a lot deeper than we went here and actually be able to map your own. And it's just a lot of fun, so I really enjoy that. Otherwise, you can try to find me on Instagram at just Mike Iamelli. I will admit to you, I'm a little bit of a hermit and shy on social media, but you can come find me and pull me out of my shell.
It's great talking to you. It was good. This is a good interview.
Yeah, thanks. It's great talking to you too, Paul.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. New episodes every Friday, 1 p.m. And what's coming up on the show, we got a lot of guests that's are amazing. That's just like this, Mike, and we got a whole bunch coming up, and I might take a vacation the next 3 months, but for sure, there's a lot coming up. I got a whole batch of episodes coming out, and they're gonna be every Friday at 1 p.m. U.S. Central Time. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
All right, I'll send it to you. Hi, everyone. My name is Paul Miller. I'm a podcaster and motivational speaker. I want to tell you about this amazing course that I've taken by Maria Malik called Speak with Confidence Academy. I've seen tremendous growth from taking the course, and from the modules to the exercises to the coaching calls. I went from not knowing much about communication to being well versed and seeing a big improvement. We can all better in that area of our lives in communication, in our professional settings and our social settings. You will see a big transformation in your communication skills. One thing I love about the course is about the module on body language. It taught me about hand gestures. And I thank Maria Malik for accepting me into the program. And I'm forever thankful. I 100% recommend this course. Thank you, Maria. And again, the course is called Speak with Confidence Academy by Maria Malik.
He only has good plans for us. So if you're at the moment stuck in fear or overwhelm or just procrastinating what you actually, what God put on your heart to do, if you're struggling being obedient, take one little step. Because our goals sometimes look so scary and so overwhelming, especially if God puts something on our hearts, right? It's just such a massive thing. But if we just break it down, so if we break down the goal into the first little 3 steps that you can do to get closer. I always say if you run a marathon, that's an overwhelming goal, but you can say, okay, well, today I'm going to buy sneakers or buy running shoes. And then maybe tomorrow I'm going to walk 2 kilometers. And then next week I can run 1 kilometer. So then it all of a sudden becomes very doable. So just take action. Life always rewards action. And just the one quote that I love that I want to leave everyone with today is that the difference between our dreams and our reality is called action. And as long as you're not taking action, your dreams are just going to gather dust and dissipate, and you're never going to reach them.
Dreams to reality.
Yep, the difference between dreams and reality is called action.
Yeah, perfect. So any links you want to share before we wrap up?
Yeah, so I don't know if you share show notes where people can find the
I do.
links, but yeah, okay. So they can find me on my handle on social media, which is the Vinedresser NZ, and they can go to find more information on thevinedresser.com. So those are the two links. On the social media, you can find the link to sign up for the workshop. So the Vinedresser NZ on Facebook and Instagram, and then thevinedresser.com if you want to know a little bit more about me, what I do, and how you can work with me.
That's the only thing I forgot to mention, the vine dresser. I check out the website today, and
Yeah.
like, what's the meaning behind the vine dresser?
So it's biblical. I wanted to find a title for my company. And I just prayed before my Bible study the one morning. I was like, God, I don't know what you want me to call this business. And I opened up my Bible, and here's the story about Jesus being the vine dresser. So how he, we are the, or he is the vine and we are the fruit. So it is just about pruning away any weeds that are overgrowing, tending to the vine, making sure that the soil is fertile, that it gets the right amount of moisture. And that's all what coaching is about, just helping people overcome everything that's choking them and holding them back, and just empowering them with all the right soil and fertilizer and tools so they can grow into whoever and whatever they are created to be.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was a great conversation. I thank you, Tessa, and the listeners for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and thanks everybody for hanging in there and listening to us.
Yeah, and y'all keep staying motivated, inspiring, making videos, and just loving what you do. Let's network. Y'all can add me on Facebook, and just a few things. Like, I'm trying to get into YouTube, and I'm trying to grow. I love things. I love being creative. I love writing. I love talking on podcasts.
Hi everyone! My name is Donna. I am staying here in the Philippines. I am a teacher. I am one of the fans of Paul Miller. Paul Miller is a good composer and a rapper. And I can say that he is a sharp-minded and a smart rapper because if you want him to do the rap in impronto, he will do it without hesitation. That's all. Paul Miller has lots of songs in his YouTube channel, and my favorite one was One Wish. The song is about the love of the country, the good governance of the people longing for, and helping each other hand in hand, saying, me and you, we got us, we got trust. And it is a good positive song for everybody.
Yo, what's up, y'all? Let's talk mental health. It's a hashtag. It's a trend that's going on TikTok. And I just want to talk about mental health. Like, I'm focusing on wellness, but you have to protect your energy. In this life, we go through so many stressors mentally, and it's a lot to process. So always process things. Every action don't need a reaction. I've practiced with sacred plant medicine. I use different coping skills. So I have coping skills. I practice with massage. I went to massage school. I've done podcasting. Talking is a good skill to know. Communication. Always have a self-expression and protect your energy. We are four bodies in one: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. So your body is your vehicle. Protect it. Protect your equipment.
Trauma was built on every time someone called me a name, every time someone yelled at me, every time I felt like I was unworthy, every time I misinterpreted what someone said and I thought that they were being mean to me, that's also a thing. Irrational thinking. Every time I misunderstood something or believed so hard in something negative, well, that was my 100 pounds, in my opinion, in my experience, because I didn't do anything special to lose weight other than go to therapy, and deal with trauma. That's it. Yes, maybe I chose over time food that was better for me, but it was all in the idea of choosing the option that hurt me the least. Like, why would I want to eat food that hurts me to digest? I don't know. Why do I hurt myself? And then it starts turning into, well, how else do I hurt myself? How do I talk to myself? How do I treat myself?
Yeah.
What do I do when, I have an argument with someone to myself? What does that look like? So it just becomes that, ever evolving inventory type of thing. But when you get to a point in life where this is where you're at and you want some serious change, the amount of relief that I have had from doing inventories is insane. Right? It's getting all that off your chest, off your back, everything. It starts kind of putting things in perspective as to what your part is, and then also understanding what other people's parts are and where those boundaries exist.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you remember the last time we was talking, and I was talking about this is interesting because some of us are broken and we're attacking
Mhm.
we're attacking
Mm.
people, and it's
Mhm.
because we're leaked or we're broken. Like when I was talking about energy, like when I was in school, we had a dowsing rod, and they measure
Yes.
my energy on all four sides, and from the front, the back, and both sides, and where I had a knee surgery.
Oh, you had an injury.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I remember.
each side was equal. The front, this side, the back was equal. Like with a dowsing rod, it was measuring the energy, and on this side, it was 24 feet out. Like I guess this side was 6 foot. It was all balanced, but this side was like so
Way out there.
yeah, so if somebody come next to me, I might back off like a bird or something, like an angry
Right.
bird. So
Right.
and she told me was to say this, this affirmation, this mantra.
Mhm.
I'm equal on all four sides, and
That's great.
everything was equal. Like everything was equal after that.
Oh my gosh. So I love mantras. I do. And actually, I think for a couple of episodes on the podcast, I may actually just do 5-minute mantras. That is fantastic. I'm really grateful to have that.
And
Um,
another chick. So you can do things with your energy. You can close off, you can open, you can close off, open. You can
Yeah.
pause in the time. But it's meant to stay open. Like your heart is meant to stay open. And this is amazing
Right.
about the auras. This chick, a lot of people were just attacking her, for no reason. And
Mhm.
what the teacher told her to do was just say I'm blocking off all my energy, or I'm blocking off from craziness or the wrong things. It's just aligning yourself and meditation.
Right.
And
Right.
she was able to close. She was able to block off all her energy, her aura, the aura field,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
just physical, just a physical body. So but you have
Yeah.
energy. It's like an onion, different layers.
Yes, it
Different
is.
layers. So it
Yeah.
is amazing what you can do with your energy.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of it's interesting to, I guess, about empaths. That's what comes to mind is empaths when you talk about, having the energy field and what I'm learning about myself is that being an empath. I don't know how to be in public and I don't know how to be out in the world without absorbing energy. So if someone is angry in their car and has, road rage or whatever, they're not even road raging at me. They're just road raging in front of me, immediately anxiety, immediately taking that on. And I don't know if that's because that's the life of a wounded healer, right? Is you immediately need to fix, you immediately need to help. But I think that the mantra you give is fantastic. I mean, I've got to learn how to do that. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's actually given me some anxiety to go out in public before. I think it's agoraphobia or something where it's just frightening to go outside. It's people who actually don't leave their house for a long time who have that, and it could very well be just an imbalance. I mean, it's a medical thing, so I'm sure there's other elements, but
like even in the psychology field, they talk about isolation, but you learn a lot from like group therapy. I've done a lot of stuff like also like with energy. I forgot what I was gonna say, but it was something related to energy.
It's okay. It happens. It's just kind of how that goes. You're probably channeling some stuff to yourself. It's
Oh yeah, like
it's easy to get lost.
a lot of us are like sensitive, like to other people's energy. Like we go out, like somebody, like if somebody called me a bitch, like I might go back home and write in a journal, like just to get it off, like to release it, because it like their pain, whatever they was putting out, projecting towards me, like it just takes a lot. But it don't take me that long to like brush it off. Like, but I might just go and not write a whole journal, but like just write some
But
things.
at least do something. Yeah.
Write a song, like just shake it off, like how Taylor Swift
Yeah.
says.
I love that. Or do like burpees or, push-ups or jump rope or touch it. I'm a big believer too in touching trees. And I know some people find that weird, but it's so not weird. So what's interesting about plant life is that, it's not only just transmitting your energy, but it's also transmitting whatever nutrients that you have on your hands or that you have on your palms. And it can actually change the ecology and the whole ecosystem of the area, depending on what you're touching, how you're touching it. So you got to be careful. But for me, in my experience, trees are totally fine to be touching. Trees themselves, the best way to approach a tree is to say, is it okay if I touch you? They're not going to say yes or no. You just say, is it okay if I touch you? And then you touch it. And what's interesting, if you just put your hands on it and you focus and you just say to yourself internally, I call all negative energy that is in my body, held even as deep as my marrow, and I ask for you to release through my hands into the tree so you can be transmuted to something better, something that is more useful, where I won't fight you anymore. And then that's it. That's a grounding meditation. If you got a house plant, do it to your house. Do it to your house plant. You know what I mean? Do it to something. I think that plant life is super important to deal with energy too, right? I mean, yes, and I don't think that they understand what's going on with like global warming and all of this because we don't transmit our energy enough. Our thoughts and our energy and all that, we don't transmit them enough. You can't evolve plant life, you can't evolve anything unless they know what's going on. And it could just very well be that we've fallen away from indigenous roots, right? Because these are all practices that Native Americans have done, natives from Africa have done, natives, Chinese medicine has all of this stuff in it for a reason. Western medicine shuns it or makes fun of it for some reason, but these are all tried and true practices for thousands of years. There's got to be some merit to it.
So, shall we begin with the first ingredient, and that is having a positive mindset? That is absolutely essential because let me tell you what creates this fear in the first place. So, we have a show, for example, but even before that, when we are in our preparation stage, we are preparing our script, we are getting ready for the presentation, we are already having those butterflies in our stomachs, right? We are feeling nervousness. We are feeling nervous already. So how to get over those? So let us first know the origin of those fears. So the origin is basically those stress hormones that create these physical manifestation of the fear, which is sweaty palms, cold palms, shaky legs, shaky hands, and all of those happen because we are nervous and we are producing those stress hormones. And we need to eliminate the stress if we want to become confident, if we want to appear confident and get rid of those physical manifestations, those symptoms of fear. So, for that, try to change your mindset. this stress happens, these stress hormones are produced because of the stress, and this stress occurs because we are thinking all the negative thoughts. We are thinking about all the bad, all the worst that can happen to us while we are presenting. So we need to change that thought from the negative thought to the positive thought. So do you agree? Do you have those symptoms? Let us ask our listeners, Paul, do you relate to what we have been telling you? Do you feel those symptoms? Comment down below.
Yes, leave some in the comments, and also like give some examples, like how do we prepare our mindset before speaking? Like before
Yeah.
this presentation, I went jogging. Like I rode the bike a little bit. I went jogging, and just to get my mindset right, a little bit in I won't give the next ingredient away so fast, but like it goes into that as well.
Yes, that is what that absolutely right. So the first method that has been rightly pointed out by you, Paul, which is relaxing ourselves in our own ways. So some people might love going on a bike ride, some might be working out, some might be jogging and exercising. So that is really a great thing for you to produce not the stress hormones but the positive hormones that will actually energize you. So that is one really great point. In order to change your stress into excitement, into something positive, you have to do something that you really love doing, you enjoy doing, and that is going to give you positive results. So one is doing what you love. The second one that I want to share is the second point. You should try and use deep breathing technique that 100% works every single time. So whenever you are about to speak, right before that, if you're feeling those symptoms, if you're feeling sweaty palms, shaky legs, you need to cool yourself down. So try and do breathing exercise. So take a deep breath and leave out your breath. So this is how you will help your body relax. And alternatively, or along with that, you can also keep water bottle with you. So a bottle of water or a glass of water, because having that will again help you cool down. And Paul is right now grabbing his bottle of water.
Yeah, I have one little tip about mindset. Clutter your environment. So set the mood, set the stage. Um, with decluttering, because when you're prepared, when you're decluttering yourself, like your environment, it's your thoughts are organized too, and everything is just running smooth. So you want to declutter the environment as well and organize, have everything ready, just like that.
Yeah, that is amazing. Yeah. We should have a decluttered environment to keep our minds decluttered as well. Absolutely, I agree with that, Paul.
So can we hear something like a jazz piece?
Here's something.
Yeah, like singing, not like an instrument, but like singing.
I can sing a couple bars of something if you want.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a song called Honeysuckle Rose, and it's kind of it's more a traditional jazz piece. And it's just going to be me. I don't have a piano, so I'll just sing a little bit, okay? I'll get ready. Every honeybee fills with jealousy when they see you out with me. I don't blame them, goodness knows. Honeysuckle rose. When you're passing by, flowers droop inside. I know the reason why you're much sweeter, goodness knows. You're my honeysuckle rose. There you go.
That was beautiful. Like it made me smile. Like
Aw,
pretty
thanks.
good. I feel like I'm like at a bar, like and like someone singing like on the mic.
Yep, that's what I do. Yeah, and a lot of what we do is sing at bars, and because that's what the music was, right? Jazz for before radio and before recordings, you had to go to the bar to listen to music, and so it's a very social music, right? Nowadays, sometimes for the bigger concerts, like Michael Bublé or something like that, you will go to a fancy concert hall and you will sit in a chair and you will listen to the concert. But most jazz shows nowadays are bars, and you're drinking and you're talking and whatever. So yeah.
I was inspired by magic mushrooms, so here it goes. It's called the Mushroom Trip / Warm Outside by MC Nook. So here it goes. It's warm outside, warm outside. I have no choice to decide. I just thank God, eyes open wide. I'm just outside, birds and the flies, lots of sunshine. I'm feeling fine. Sit back and unwind. So windy day, but lots of sunshine. Oh my God, trippy vibes, awesome vibe, atmosphere just fine. Wonderful experience on the back porch, still in the shade. The wind hits my face, it's like you can get some of this too. Everything's happy, the house is happy, the grass is happy, the clouds are happy. Point on with the lyrics, so sacred. San Francisco in the 70s. Hippie vans, camping in the woods, perceive nature, go to parks, and make a pad with a blanket, with like-minded people, carefree, how it's supposed to be. Warm outside, just free, away from my business and busy lives. Instead of being busy bees, just be butterflies. Inspire, go higher, go deeper, point on, so strong. Nature is here to help us, but somewhere we got lost alone. This is a journey, I hear the birds, and I'm learning. Warm outside. Instead of being busy bees, let's be butterflies. Warm outside, warm outside. Warm outside, warm outside.
Shout out to Paul Miller and the Free Time Free Spill podcast. He had me on his show. My name's Eddie. I'm with TBD Network, host of a couple different podcasts. You can find us at anchor.fm/TBD-podcast. But this is about Paul. Paul is an energetic, enigmatic, very driven individual who's constantly looking for knowledge, constantly looking for patience, constantly looking for more light. He's very into a lot of different things. He's a jack of all trades, and he's an artist and a musician and a very positive, influential person. And I think that given time, he's going to grow to be something amazing. If you can get a chance to be on his show, check it out. Just a all around great guy. Check him out.
Hey everyone, my name is Genesis Amaris Kemp. I am the author of Chocolate Drop in Corporate America, From the Pit to the Palace. I had the pleasure of working with Paul Miller for his podcast. I was a guest on there where we had a transparent, open, honest conversation and just had some really great vibes. He is a phenomenal host, easy to talk to, great listener, and I want to commend him for all the incredible work that he's doing in the podcast community, and shout out to all the incredible things that he is getting ready to accomplish. So signing out, Genesis Amaris Kemp.
What's going on, everybody? It's your man Hans Nobi, music producer / A&R, here to talk about my experience on the Free Spill podcast with Paul Miller. It was pretty cool, man, honestly. He called me right after I dropped my album Drive Fly last year, which I dropped during the pandemic, and it just took a life on its own. It just grew. So he took the liberty of reaching out to me, and on the interview, he did a great job asking very insightful questions. I could tell he was engaged, and I could tell that he really wanted to know the process of becoming an A&R, but also being a music producer as well. And man, that really meant a lot as a creative. So much luck, much love. Whenever you get a chance to get on that podcast, definitely do it. It's a growing community, and yeah, man, that's pretty much it. That's it. Shout out to Paul Miller. Much love. Yeet.
Hi, I'm Ishani Gupta, radio anchor, public speaking coach, editor, translator, and author as well. So recently, I got the opportunity to work with Paul. The first time I met him, we instantly connected. I must say, we gelled quite well. It is really amazing to find an amazing partner to work with, as well as an amazing friend for lifetime. Paul is a really amazing, really awesome guy. He knows what he's doing basically. His show, Freedom Free Spill, is again a brilliant concept. He brings about guests from different walks of life, and that is the best part about his show. So, anyone who wants to share some ideas can join his show, and that is what I liked about his show the most. So, while working with him, it was a great experience. I had a lot of fun. We got to share a lot of tips with people. It was absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing. I'm looking forward to working with him even on future projects. I really wish all the luck, all the best to Paul because he's doing a great job. I hope he keeps growing, he keeps doing this great work and achieves great heights, great success.